Hello, Nomads, and welcome to episode 130. We'll be talking about Rogue One. My name is Brandon. I am your host for this episode, but I'm not alone. I have my co-pilot, Dave.
Be careful not to choke on your aspirations, Brandon.
Very nice. Yes.
I
was wondering who you're going to go with, but I honestly forgot about that entire scene. So, yeah, we're talking about Rogue One, and it is the first movie that is a Star Wars movie that Disney made that wasn't about the Skywalkers, more or less.
Outside of the saga.
Outside of the Skywalker saga, right? And yeah, so we've all seen this before, but it's been years since we actually saw. I think I've only seen this movie 3 times. I think I've seen this when it came out, and then I saw it maybe a year after it came out, and then I didn't see it for a long time.
I haven't seen it since it came to like video on demand or whatever, or like HBO for the first time, and I'm like, give it a whirl.
Okay.
I did see it in the theaters. I don't know. It was shortly after. It wasn't.
No, we saw it together.
I had differing feelings about this movie when I first saw
it.
And
we're down a rebel today. Eric is still out because his wife had their second child, so he's just taking a break from the show. He will return. I'm sure he was upset that he was going to miss this episode, being a big Star Wars fan, but he is here in presence. We can still feel his force. So I'm going to read something that he wrote in our Discord, and anybody can join our Discord. It's just go to our website, thenomadsoffantasy.com/Discord, and you can join us there. And you'll see comments like this. All right. I enjoy Rogue One much more on my second rewatch than I did on the initial watch in the theaters. A lot of that had to do with having more background and context on the characters and what was going on at that point in the timeline, as I had just come off of watching Andor, the Clone Wars, and reading the Thrawn books. Okay. So I think if you're a big Star Wars fan, this movie probably rewards you. I really enjoyed seeing the boots on the ground story in this movie, in the fight against the Empire, which is something we haven't seen much of, in the films at least, when this movie released. We also saw this in Andor, which did a much better job of depicting it, but this laid the groundwork for that series. I think this film also does a great job of showing the different factions in the fight against the Empire. Saw Gerrera and his extremists, ex-separatists, and the more organized rebellion. It gives a different perspective on how each group is taking the fight to the Empire and what they are willing to do to take them down. Holy cow, he really captured the whole movie. So I'm going to skip to the end here. It's just a lot, but it's he's commenting on Vader and all that stuff. So, but he does say they basically took one line for A New Hope and blew it out into a whole movie, which you can also argue is unnecessary, but I appreciate the added context and depth of the battles against the Empire. In the overall ranking of Star Wars movies, I'd put it somewhere between 5 to 10 for me personally. I enjoyed the minute-to-minute of this movie more than a lot of the main films, but I still think Solo is the better of the 2 spin-off movies.
5 to 10. How many Star Wars movies are there? Are there 11?
There's 9.
9 and then Solo
11.
and this?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
There's a lot of praise
Eric,
for a bottom half movie, though.
Yeah. Correct, yes. And then, just real quick, because TJ's also made a comment on our Discord, he says, I love Rogue One. It's one of my favorite Star Wars movies. Serious in tone and story, pulls off a great heist movie that also has an ending we knew was coming. I personally love how it ends, right where A New Hope begins. Great movie. I'm going to say that is probably the positive part of this episode about the movie Rogue One.
No, I got positive stuff to say. Well, I haven't seen this movie in a long time. When I first saw it, it was like, meh. Like, there's no... Well, give a little, I guess, history on this movie. Came out in 2016. Which is, 8 years ago at this point?
Yeah, it's been a while.
it made like $1 billion. I think it was pretty critically acclaimed. Like people were kind of shocked because this was the first movie with no Jedi, no Sith. It's just a straight up Star Wars story, which is super cool. And the first time I saw it, I was a little mad on it. After the second time I saw it, still kind of mad on it. I don't know what it is about this.
I don't know what it is either, because Dave, you and I are the same age pretty much, and
There's so much cool shit in
we
this.
grew up on the original trilogy. We are totally those Star Wars fans, right? We adore the original trilogy. We have learned how to appreciate the prequels. We have mixed feelings on the sequels. But we did both enjoy Solo.
Absolutely.
I know Eric, if you go to our, if you listen to our previous episode, you'll hear we've done The Last Jedi and Episode 3 and Solo.
I think that's it.
And
Yeah.
now this, as far as the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been pretty positive on all of those, some more than others. I think you took issue with The Last Jedi against like Eric
A little
and I.
bit, but those story beats. That was a very pretty looking movie, though. Kind of.
And
like
I would
this one.
say Rogue One. I actually think Rogue One is a good looking movie. Like
It's
I like what I see.
fantastic.
Like it's like they nailed the look and made it look not only new but also part of the original trilogy, especially later on with the costume design. Like they did a really good job making it feel like, hey, that's kind of looks like A New Hope.
Even just the shots that they have of like the planets they're on and the landscapes
Right.
and the planes flying into orbit and shit like that. Like,
Which I think is low hanging fruit.
Those are sweet. I mean, yeah, I guess it's probably like.
How do you fuck that up? You know the formula.
That's true.
Show giant ships.
It looks
just
sweet.
Press the screen. Have like big planets and small ships flying in front of it. Do some drone shots. I think that's easy. I think that's easy for a Star Wars movie. That's like, yeah, you should have that. Well, like when it comes for me, when it comes to this story, that's where I struggle.
Story.
I don't connect to any of the characters. I never did.
Yeah, I think.
And I still don't.
I think one of the coolest characters is Krennic. Like the bad guy is like one of my favorite characters in this game, in this movie. I get a little bit of what Eric was saying with the history with the Thrawn books because he is in some of the Thrawn books where Thrawn's trying to like make TIE fighters with shields, and Krennic wants to build the Death Star, and they're both like competing project managers in the Galactic Empire Corporation. They're just both trying to get funding for their projects, and obviously Krennic does a pretty good job. Death Star is pretty goddamn impressive, but yeah, I think it gives a little bit of a view there. But yeah, I agree. Everyone's kind of just blah. Like I get Jyn, she's a cool character. I like that she's an orphan, kind of trying to make her way, fighting the rebellion, blah blah blah.
She's the weakest character. I thought that when I watched it the first time.
Even
and I still think so.
Cassian's kind of lame too, but though like everybody else,
the two leads are. Everyone else does a better job. Like I think the pilot, I enjoy him. I enjoy the robot, the droid K2.
K2 is actually yes. There should have been more of K2 in this movie.
Right, yes,
not just like punching up jokes and stuff like that. It's because that's kind of all they really used K2 for.
Yeah, I just look at all the other movies that I enjoy, and there's just so much personality coming out of all these characters. You see them when they're happy, when they're angry, when they're sad, when they're frustrated. In this movie, everyone is one note. It's the weakest part of this movie.
All upset.
And I know a lot of people like this movie, and I do. And I get why, but I think you just like it because of the visuals and the action. It cannot be these characters. And I think why we like Star Wars is because of the characters. I feel like this movie, this is the weakest part, and it's just, I don't know, nobody talks about it.
Well, and the sweet action and like the, I don't want to say character development, but like the way that the story progresses from, you think of like the first Star Wars, like, you meet Luke, you meet Han, they go off Death Star away and blow it up. Like, it's a pretty, even ride where you're kind of getting your way to that end point.
Yeah,
And this one,
but it's a
it
great
felt like
ragtag team that you got a princess, a scoundrel, and a farm boy who might be the chosen one, kind of thing. And it's
yeah.
a great and the old wizard,
Nope.
and like the scruffy, sidekick. Like it's great. They all got mixed in there,
They all have
I think those are great
They
stories.
all have
This movie,
different beats to them though. Like you're
there
saying,
was
like
no, yeah,
everybody's kind of the same in here. They're all just like dudes wearing leather with their blaster guns, just like looking for freedom.
yeah. Everybody's just upset, and they're just kind of one note. And there's no moments where like, I don't know, K2 and Cherub talk or whatever, or Brody and Jyn have a moment. What was it like being in the Empire? Oh, I knew. Like, we didn't get any of that. Everyone is just going from this place to this place to this place. And it looks good, but like story wise, we meet her when she's a child. The mother shows up, but the father shows up,
This
and it's
whole
just
scene was good.
no, the mom gets killed. It was just a dumb scene. She gets killed off, and the dad just gets taken away. She's put away. Then Saw Gerrera takes over. I could have totally done without this character. I think he is nothing but fluff. We could have done all this another way around.
Hey, you're going too fast. Slow down.
Why? This is what the movie's doing. We go from thing to thing to thing.
That is true. But
and we don't
the
get to
intro.
with
The intro was
characters.
good. You get some good. Like I don't think they used the dad like half. The dad should have been in the movie probably twice as much because
that's what I'm saying. We could have done
Mads Mikkelsen.
Yes.
But that dude is
Galen Erso is the father to Jyn Erso, the daughter. These are there's no when he dies later on in the movie, I don't care. I should because it's the father. He did something cool where he hid something in there that lets you destroy this massive thing. That's cool. But we don't get any time with this guy. We don't know anything.
You
There's
get that
no
hologram.
moments.
The hologram.
Give me a scene with
I was laughing
him
out
and
loud
Brody.
at. That was
why.
I just wrote down some things like the parts of this movie just don't make sense. Like that's kind of what bothered me. And I know you're thinking Star Wars, you can't critique Star Wars. It's just a fucking space movie. It doesn't have to make sense. But there are like literal weird like the message that he sends through the pilot back to Saw and then in turn expects Saw to get it to Jyn. So like he's got this one chance to send a message to tell them that he plants a security flaw in the Death Star, and he spends 90% of the message talking about, oh, I loved your mother so much.
Oh my God!
I wish I could have gone back and held you as a baby. I miss you so much. I bet your hair smells like lemon pepper. And he's just going on and on about this, and he doesn't mention like, hey, go to Scarif, pick up the program that is called this and send it to wherever you gotta go.
And then he could have been like, Jyn, if you're still listening, I want you to know I've always loved you.
P.S.
What I did. Yeah.
Yes,
I know.
Shit.
But what I don't like is how we're constantly being rushed in this movie because we meet her when she's a child, then we flash forward and then she's like in jail for some reason. Okay, and then we flash forward and we're dealing with like Saw Gerrera, right? We just meet Saw Gerrera. Now he's dead. Like the planet or the city gets blown up. Like I like that whole town, Jeddah. They keep saying for Jeddah later on in the movie. I spent no time in Jeddah. We got in and we got out. I didn't I know we saved some kids, but they just got killed off anyways. And we bump into the guys that we see in the cantina in A New Hope. Unnecessary.
I wrote that one down. That was a little like that. Too much fan service.
Too much. They could have said, hey, we should, somebody could have brought up the cantina, but the exact fucking guys are there. And then the city blows up like a half hour later.
But they lived though. They were on their way. They were on their way out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just
like the distance.
That whole area we could have spent time there. Her father could have snuck out and met with like Brody and Saw, and we could have had him like let me meet these characters. But no, we're just constantly going around talking to nobodies, and it's just.
I feel bad bagging on this movie so much, but I mean. There are some flaws, but I want to go back to how cool some fucking things looked in this movie.
Like the CG on
the Death Star blowing up Jeddah. Like that was
that
was cool as shit,
bro.
It does. I
It's
know,
cool.
and
This movie
CG
is
is
cool. It's a
CG
cool
is
movie.
technically the easy part, I guess, like writing the script and
Yes.
having a cohesive
And I
story.
wish they would do more of this
A
in
little
the other
tougher.
movies. Like they did some stuff that like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
kind of what I want to see in my modern day Star Wars movies. We should have more of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, like the thing bugged me about Jeddah is like the laser beam hits it. How far away are they? They're not that far away from the city. Like they walked there from the city to there. And it takes like 3 minutes for the impact to get from the city to his base, where technically they should have been vaporized in about 15 to 30 seconds or something like that, an impact of that thing. I don't know. The logic of it throws me off. Just like some of the dumb logic in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
It happens.
Star Wars.
Some of these
Yeah.
movies you got to kind of
The logic.
turn your brain off too. I know we say that a lot. Like you got to know what you're expecting and know what you're getting into. But I mean, it is a cool story to tell. Like Eric said, it was probably unneeded. I don't think I needed to know. Next movie they're gonna watch, it's gonna be Rogue 2, and they're gonna show how many Bothans died to get the next Death Star plans. We'll go from there.
Yeah. The highlights for me though is definitely the internal struggle of being in an high-ranking officer in the Empire. I like that a lot.
That was
I
cool.
think Krennic is a better part of the story. I think they did a good job. Always have a good villain.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a good villain. I think
He
he
had
played the
that.
part very well.
He had that pompous, prickish attitude to him down pretty well. Part of it, I think, is the tight white suit that he's wearing. I want to get a cape like that. Shout out to the costume designers for those sweet ass capes. Like
Costume design is great in this
tapered
movie.
right around the shoulder. Costume design, like aliens. That's one thing that they did show in this movie that is awesome. Is they showed so many fucking aliens on between the Imperial place where Jyn wakes up, and then Jeddah, and then all the rebels. There's just like tons of aliens that we see like once or twice, and we don't really see much of their species again, really.
Right. Yeah, and possibly a top 3 droid in the series. I mean,
Scott, yeah, I think so.
I think he is the highlight of the movie. The comedy for him was well written. Still makes me chuckle in his lines. I like that he was sarcastic, but he also had a heart of metal. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like he also cared deep down inside in some way, and you get to see a little bit of that. I could have used more of that.
Yeah. Add a
Again,
little
another character
impact
that I think got lost.
Because, I mean, I'm gonna sound dismissive or anything, but like the most interesting thing that most of these characters did was die. Like, I don't know, the forces with me guy and his buddy. Like, I wasn't really. I kind of actively dislike the. What is his name?
Yeah, I don't like this character. I think the actor's kind of cool himself.
Imway.
Chariot. Okay, I thought it was Cherub. Chariot. Yeah, I could have done without this character. I think it's weird because he's a Force user, such a powerful Force user that he uses
Is he
like
a Force
the smallest
user?
amount of. He seems to be Force sensitive, dude. I mean, he's all
Or
about
is
the
he
Force.
just like a monk? That's just like
I mean, that's what they say.
Yeah.
But he can sense stuff. He's like when Cassian is going
Like
to make a
Daredevil.
hit on Jin's father. Yeah, just like Daredevil. He says that there's like darkness around him. That's usually the Force telling you that somebody's gonna do something evil, like kill somebody.
Oh yeah.
So he can sense that shit. So I think he's just been around.
He also senses where TIE fighters are and do a behind the back shot and just go boop and just take down a TIE fighter.
Right. So again, looks cool.
It does look
Blind
cool.
guy with a staff can kick ass, but it's also kind of ridiculous, you know. So I'd rather
it works
see
for Daredevil.
more of the other characters do that stuff.
He's essentially the same character. I don't know if he's using sound to do it or what he's doing, or if he's like Neo in the Matrix. Those are basically our two options of blind dudes who also kick ass. Is Neo and Daredevil, but I guess we add him to the list. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think his acting's that good. It just feels very flat. Like he does not. He's like, I know how to do acrobatics and kick, like do some cool kung fu, but acting is not his thing. So when he says, "The force was with me, and I'm one with the force," when he says that, it just sounds very. The force was with me, and I'm one with the force. It just sounds very stiff.
I'm not. I
Like,
don't know. It's just more annoying than it was interesting.
but I like the guy that protects him.
Yeah,
I think that guy is awesome.
fun.
Like that guy was so cool. With like the friggin' chain gun blaster, so cool. And he truly loved like his friend. You know, he picked on him the whole time about his faith, but deep down inside, he had it still in him in some way.
He knew.
I think that's a great moment. Yeah, I liked him, but he kind of relied on the other guy, and I think the other guy was just kind of a weaker character. What
else we got?
I don't know.
This one?
I think what gets me jazzed is thinking about the last third of the movie. I wrote down an hour and 37 minutes is when this movie becomes good to me. I think this is what everybody really likes. It's when all the battle starts.
Scarif.
It's an awesome battle.
It was pretty sweet. Like the beach scenes, and like we haven't had one of those in a Star Wars movie.
No, that's what we signed up for.
Like, yeah, that was pretty sweet.
With a space battle, because it's Star Wars, you got to have a space battle. So you got the space battle here.
Mm-hmm.
You have that going on down here, and then they're doing a heist on the inside. It's got everything, and it was awesome. We get like 50 minutes of this shit almost. I think. I really enjoy it. It's some of the best of Star Wars. Like, it's up there. It's just like, I love this stuff. This is what I want to see. I just think the rest of the story, it was a waste on character development and get me to give a shit. So when they die, I'm like, yeah. K2 was kind of sad. K2, I didn't want to see him die. Like that he sacrificed himself. He sounded like he was going, like that was a sad death. But everyone else is just, I don't know. They've just been flat the whole time. There wasn't one like moment where like somebody told something about like their life. I just do it because this world sucks. Like, okay, I get it, but what about you?
Well, they all think the world sucks. What'd you think about there was the 2 CG characters in this movie, which were like a first.
They're good.
Tarkin was I don't know. He had a fair amount of screen time.
Too much.
Yeah, and I don't know if he was completely needed. The only reason that we kind of know is because like he's the one that blows up Alderaan, and he's the one that just fucking bombs Krennic at the end too, which is kind of a fitting end. Kind of interesting how that played out, but like you didn't really need him. Like this movie would have been.
I liked that though. I like the inner fighting in the Empire for power. I thought that was cool. I'd like to see, because it's always like a thing with the Empire. If it's not Vader like killing somebody and like replacing with somebody else, then they're also fighting, and and I was like, I can get behind it. This is fun.
In the books, in the Thrawn books, there is a fair amount of like, I don't know what you want to call it, intrigue and internal conflicts in between.
Okay. They got their corporate ladder in the Empire ladder.
They do,
right? And they're out doing stuff. The back.
Well, and they're only letting the humans go up the ranks. Like
right.
Thrawn is a weird one because he's an alien, so he gets a lot of like racist stuff thrown at him. So
right.
Alienist. I don't know what you want to call it. Yeah, the Leia one at the end was, whatever. It ties the movies together because they did have a good idea. We're like, in the drawing room, we're gonna finish the movie with fucking Leia taking off with the fucking codes or whatever. Great. Which, I also have a dumb logical, like thing. Like, so they're doing the heist. They turn on the satellite dish. The thing hits. You see, I forget what the name of the species is that Admiral Akbar is. Mon Calamari. Boom.
Wow.
You see them download the stuff. Is that the ship that Leia's ship is docked with? I might be making sense for it. The wheels might be turning it into it. It looked to me like they just uploaded it and like a whole bunch of ships just grabbed it and they all just took off. I'm like, why is that ship the only one with like the schematics on it? I'm guessing that Leia's ship was docked with the Mon Calamari guy's ship.
It got shot up to a specific ship, I believe.
Because that's who they messaged
And
when they called up.
and that's who Vader boarded and
Okay.
chased down. But the guy was able to get it through the door. So that guy,
Vader.
what's his name?
Vader could have stopped that easily too. Let's be honest. He just gone zoop and just no, get the fuck back here. What are you doing?
Right.
But,
right.
You know, he wanted to be lax and he couldn't have his cool pose out there on the edge. Like it seemed a little
his flex.
It seemed a little gratuitous, like to have Vader in there. That was another like. Technically, it's kind of just a fan servicey bit that they just
totally
threw in
is.
there.
But that one worked for me. I think it's one of the best shots in Star Wars. It gave me chills watching it, and I still love it to death. I love that scene so much because it showed what Vader can do because we didn't really like he fought Obi-Wan Kenobi in like A New Hope, and it's like old man fight. You know, it's kind of sad. What could we really have done with it? So I think that him throwing people up in the ceiling and like stabbing them and like it was sick. It was awesome. I'm fine with that. I think the scene earlier when he's like, "Don't choke on your aspirations."
That's why I said that one.
I didn't get that scene. Like I didn't understand. It was just a threat, and he thought I didn't like. Why did we need that scene?
We didn't. I don't think we really needed to because he was just asking to talk to the Emperor.
He wants to talk to the Emperor, and Tarkin said no. So then he goes to Vader, right? Or Vader requested him, I think, to like put him in his place or something.
I don't remember there. I don't know
yeah,
why it was because like I don't even know why
he
went to.
I was so distracted on his voice that I don't know if I cut that scene as well as he should have.
I guess it kind of made sense that he went to Scarif to like pull the Death Star records.
Yeah, because he wants to know who the fuck he told.
Yeah.
Galen Erso told somebody. We know it's Brody, the pilot, but they don't know that. So they're trying to figure out who it went to. So he's like, give me all the logs. We got to go through it and see what he said. And
fucking pilot.
I don't know how that even makes sense. Like, would you probably tell him not logged? I don't know. I
was looking up his IP address and DNS records and trying to track that down.
They knew there was a liability, and he had to figure it out. But Vader, he was sent to take out the rebellion when they showed up. But that scene, I don't know. Yeah.
Confusing. Like Galen Erso is like weirdly, like in the beginning, he's like living on a planet all by himself. He's like hidden away. He gets taken by the Empire. Like, yo, you're working on the Death Star. And then like it's like I don't know, nobody really talks about like who knows like who the people that are building the Death Star. And then at one point when Jyn gets captured, she's just like, It's okay. I'm Galen Erso's daughter. And I'd be like, who the fuck is that? Like, does everybody in the galaxy know who Galen Erso is? Like, it's
right.
It was like a weird note to like get pulled off on. Like, there's a lot of all sorts of weird stuff going on here. Let's not take away from the visuals.
No.
And the cool fucking aliens. Like that's because that's
Yeah.
what I think this movie is, and why so many people like it is because it's kind of like a deep dive into the universe that like everybody wanted. Because when you're doing the Star Wars main movies, you're getting like the cream of the crop, like crazy battles, the best of the sword fights, and all that kind of stuff. This is like more of the underbelly, kind of like a world building movie, kind of. That's just
right.
It's kind of introducing all these planets that you never see in the movies. It's, telling about how the rebellion is starting, and you're seeing like how, it's a lot of different races of aliens and how everything's put together. So and it looks really good. So I think that's a good reason why, people have such high feelings for it. What's the Rotten Tomatoes on this?
I don't know.
Let me look this up.
70.
Is that what you're going to guess?
70. 68.
I'm going to guess 70.
I go 70.
No. Critics has got to be in the 70s, audience in the 80s.
Audience is definitely going to like this more than the critics. Yes.
Drum roll. Oh, whoa! Critics, 84% of the critics
Okay.
liked it. 87% of the audience.
Oh, okay.
Isn't
All right.
this?
So then everybody was pretty
That was
like, yeah,
pretty
it's good.
hot.
Pretty good.
Oh,
Okay.
I liked it. No, 80s is like very good. I would say. I don't know.
Okay.
Especially the upper 80s. But
Okay.
because I think it is like that. It's filling in all those holes of hole filling of
Did
what happened in the galaxy all over the place.
did you so we've seen Andor, the first season of Andor.
Yeah.
And you and I were kind of mixed on it. Like we liked some parts of the Andor series, and other parts we were like, whatever. But I think we both agreed Andor is just not a character that we connect with. He's very one note there. He's one note in that. He's more one note in this.
Yeah.
He's just always like, what? What's your problem? What?
Don't touch my stuff. We all know
Don't
that
touch
one.
my stuff. Yeah, don't touch my stuff. It's
Yeah.
just not an enjoyable character as a lead. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a shame. I feel if they would have just redid, if I could just have a different version of that first half of the movie and make it so I give a damn about these characters, maybe just the fucking dad. It could have just
More
been
of the
about the
dad.
dad, and
Need
then
more.
yeah, and then he puts together a ragtag team of rebels, and they call themselves Rogue One. Something would have been cooler, but
Hiding those
but yeah,
exhaust ports. Okay, I got a couple different spots in here this movie that I wanted to touch on. How did you feel about the way that the name Rogue One was created? Did it remind you of anything else?
like how they did in Solo.
That's exactly what I was thinking. The Solo's last name.
You got a name? Ma? What clan are you from? What family? Where do you come from? Oh, all right. Han. He's alone. Solo. What?
Yep.
Okay. And
And
then
Rogue
yeah,
One
and
is
then like,
just
what
like,
ship is
I don't
this?
know, Rogue One? Question
Rogue.
mark?
What? Rogue One. Rogue One. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the fact that both of those things were just made up. They bothered me in both movies. While
Could have
Solo,
been anything. Like it could have been a childhood thing with somebody and their brother, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we created our own like rebel squadron. We called it Rogue One." Okay, great. And brother dies, whatever. And then later on, he says, "Oh, what are you gonna call it?" I'm gonna call it, and he reveals it Rogue One. Fine, something. Give it. It's just,
Mhm.
Rogue. We're going Rogue. We're the only one.
It's where you put the F bomb in this movie. Rogue motherfucking one. Then boom.
Right.
Then you hit the emergency horn. But it's if you're Han Solo and somebody asks your last name, you say fucking last name's Laserjet. Like, yeah, what's it to you? Come up with something better.
Yeah, I got one for you.
Yeah, please.
The music. I'm just all over this movie. I'm sorry, but the music.
I don't
think
think I
it's
minded
totally in
it.
the
I don't
shadow
know.
of.
I didn't really notice
Just,
it.
I think it's the shadow of the work of John Williams, and he probably was told not to do that, like not to sound like John Williams and do John Williams
Is
songs,
this a
but
John
like
Williams
allude
movie?
to them. No, some other guy did it, but he would he would allude to it, but I didn't like it. It was like either play the Star Wars songs or not. I understand some of them are for certain characters, but it'd be like the Rogue One logo reveal, dun 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 dun. But then it goes to like other notes, and it's just like, all right, you're gonna do the Star Wars song, but then you don't. And they kept trying to do like the Rebel song, and it's just every time they did this, it's I don't know, it fell off. So it's like, all right, so you're alluding to or you're playing homage to the work of John Williams, but then you're doing your own thing. Fine, do your own thing then. But it's not as good and memorable. I'm sorry, it's just not. None of what this composer made, it would be any song I would ever want to hear.
Michael Giacchino. What else he has done? He's worked in a lot of video games.
Yeah,
On the
I don't know. Maybe he's done good work elsewhere, but I
Sega
don't think he showed up.
Genesis video game for Jurassic Park Lost World, the Mercenaries games, the
Sure.
Incredibles games. I don't know.
Yeah. No. There's only one song that he did that sticks in my head, and it's when Jyn got the schematics on the hard drive, external hard drive, and
Mhm.
she's climbing up that thing. And
Which
uh,
who keeps their hard drives like that?
I
Like
know,
it's like a
it's
fucking
weird.
claw game where you gotta like reach over and like hope you grab the right one, and then you like
Yeah,
then you're
I
pulling a hard
right,
drive out of a thing, and I'm like, couldn't you just store them in like shelves like a normal fucking person? But they got this big long
right.
tube of hard drives that they're just keeping. You
I
know,
don't know.
it is cool. I like how they reuse a lot of the they reused some of the screens from the original movies where they had like that shitty resolution of like the Death
Yeah,
Star that's like dot 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 dot. Like they
yeah,
reused some of that stuff in this
yeah. That was
movie,
cool. I
and
like
you
that stuff.
know
Sure,
that is it
but
is nice to pay homage to that.
yeah. But that scene though, when she's climbing up there, the music goes dun 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 dun, and all I keep thinking of is "This is Christmas, this is Christmas" from like Nightmare Before Christmas. Just like, but the rest of the soundtrack, I don't remember any of it. I just don't think that movie had good music. It was okay. It was serviceable. It background music, but
I wasn't
to
really
me,
paying.
Star Wars movies should have even the Solo movie had. I mean, maybe that's John Williams though, but
Yeah,
the Solo movie had great music in it. You know,
but
like those.
those
I can
are
hear some of
there's a lot of
the
action
songs.
in a lot of the other movies. I think there's more. This is probably the slowest paced of all the Star Wars movies.
Yeah,
Because there were some definite lulls in the middle, but like you think of like I mentioned A New Hope, but even all the movies, like there's not really a downtime. Maybe when Luke's at Yoda's house or whatever, or
when they're looking for Alderaan.
yeah, there's some
Yeah,
downtime, but you're still getting the interaction of that motley crew. Not You're not getting too much out of this motley crew, but I think that's why, because the subject matter is, I don't want to say less interesting, but it's more serious and grounded in reality as opposed to the other movies. And then a lot of the characters, like their interactions aren't as interesting then, because they're talking about, I don't know, they don't even come up with a lot of the plans. Like they don't come up with the plan to get through the shield into Scarif until they're like on the way. They're like, wait a minute, how the fuck are we gonna get in here? And they're like, oh, it's an old ship, and we're gonna try and use the codes and cross our fingers and hope that it works, just like every other goddamn Star Wars movie. But here's a spoiler alert: it works. But
yeah, that didn't bother me at all. Like, because they are totally winging it, and it's like the Rebel way. Like they're very. They don't have like the luxury of finances. You know, Mon Mothma and crew, like they all try to figure that out
you
and how to get.
discussed that before. They discussed that in the meeting room in Return of the Jedi. Like, we've got these
Mhm.
codes. Many Bothans fucking died. Let's go blow up the shield generator. But
Right.
there's a big ass shield generator. Cover the whole goddamn planet. You know what that reminded me of is Spaceballs, where planet Juridia has the shield to keep their air in, and the Spaceballs show up with
And they with a vacuum cleaner.
Operation Mega Maid, and then she sucks all
Yeah.
the stuff out. And then she
Right.
goes from suck to blow, and everything just goes in reverse and goes right back into the ground.
Yeah. So stupid.
It's
Yeah.
such a good movie. Everybody should see
It is good. My
Spaceballs.
kids loved it. All right. I mean, I don't want to bag on this movie too much, but I also don't have that much good to say about it. I love Star
Oh,
Wars. It has its moments. I really like the third act. The third, the action's really good. I wish I cared about the characters. It's just, I don't know. I
Stardust
mean,
is
I
a
put
dumb
it above.
name.
I probably put it
Sorry.
above episode 2. Yeah, Stardust is above episode 2. I think I probably would put it above that. But
Eh.
episode 2 has some cool
No,
stuff in
I
it.
like episode 2. This
It's
is
got the
this is
Camino
like
stuff.
Rise of Skywalker and then Rogue One.
Yeah, that's yeah. Maybe that's what it is. The bottom movie is Rise of Skywalker, then this movie, then episode 2.
Yeah, that's how we'll power rank them. Like, it's so
I
weird
can
that
get behind that.
Project is he's so Galen Erso is calling his daughter Stardust. The like did he do that when she was like little in the beginning of the
Yeah,
movie?
yeah,
So he's like planting the seed that she's Stardust. But like, what if they didn't send her to come get the plans for the Death Star? Like, what if they sent
yeah. They would have
fucking,
been like, "Which one is it?"
I don't fucking know.
It's definitely not Stardust.
Like, yeah, like then there's no, and well, Galen Erso doesn't have the wherewithal to like mention like, hey, it's called Operation Stardust, guys. Like nobody mentions it the whole movie. He had to tell Jyn how much he loved her, but he couldn't just.
He said Stardust throughout the movie. Every time he had a chance to talk about her to
But
her, even the
like,
hologram.
it could have been something cute, like, "Oh, baby, we're all made of stardust." Like, because
Sure.
technically we are all made of stardust, but
Right.
really it's the double meaning of it's blowing planets up into stardust. So if she didn't go, that whole plan falls apart. Sorry, just another weird. I'm just flipping through my notes here. Weird angle that the Death Star blast came in at. It came in at like a 35-degree angle when
Yeah.
like, and it just clipped the top of the tower. But the whole reason for that is because they couldn't have the explosion right at the tower because everybody would be dead too fucking quick, and they wouldn't get time to go down to the beach and hug for a little bit and wait for the nuclear blast to come in.
Yeah, I did wonder why did they shoot Jeddah point blank right smack dab in the middle?
Bam! Because everybody was on the outside. You got to give them time to have their plot
I mean, it was a
dialogue
cool ass
while
shot. It
the
was.
shit's coming in. Yeah,
I just
it's
wish we saw the Death Star show up. I want to see it I want to see it move.
well, when Krennic's up at the top of the tower and he can see the Death Star like coming up over the horizon.
And you're toast. Like that's
Like,
gonna be scariest.
that is a
And it's
sick
the thing
ass
that you
shot.
create. Yeah.
Like, that is
Right.
another one. Like, there's so many good shots in this movie. Like the beach shots with the walkers. You know,
Oh, so cool.
yeah, it gives you
Love it.
flashbacks of like the Ewok stuff, but this is more ground. Like, you don't have little teddy bears running around on the ground. You have like
Right.
actual rebels. Makes it
Um,
sweet.
even though it was in the first half of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
more closer to the middle of the movie, when they were trying to assassinate or assassinate
Mm-hmm.
Galen Erso, I liked that the rebellion sent that squad to finish the job because they thought, oh, our people are out, they can't do it. We'll just send a squad to do it. When they show up in that rain at night, flying through like a whole bunch of them, at that time I was like, man, this is cool because it's low to the ground in a rocky area in a rainstorm. I thought that this is a cool shot. Like this looks cool. You know, maybe blind guy like taking out a TIE fighter in the rain, not cool. Like
I
a
mean, it looked
10-year-old probably thought
cool.
that was cool, but like that's kind of stupid if you think
Uh,
about it. Like, come on, you
well,
know,
and the reason
it's like a trope. Even fucking Han Solo did that in like A Force Awakens. Um, in I think Age of Ultron, the one guy shoots an arrow fucking at people without looking. I think
Hawkeye,
Legolas did it in Hawkeye, and I think Legolas does it in
Legolas doesn't
stuff.
need
It's just,
to.
but he's an elf. I guess I can let that slide. But
I mean, and this is, I think you've had the same gripe before, is that like one of the coolest shots from like some of the from some of the scenes, I guess I guess it would probably be the trailer.
oh, the trailer, dude,
Where
set me up to think I was getting something else, and I got
or
something else.
Jalen's up on the platform and the TIE fighter rises up to like meet her.
Oh, and Jin's going to yes, they have a yes. They made that scene only for the trailer. Same shot, but they added the TIE fighter just because they thought it cool. Like
That would have been
mixed on this.
way cooler.
That was it's way cooler than don't like here's the thing, like you can show me scenes that are not in the movie to get me amped up, like not ruin it. I get it. But you can't take the same fucking shot and do something cooler in the trailer. Cuz that's cooler than what happened in the movie. She just walks to
Absolutely.
the fucking thing and turns it
Uh-huh.
on.
Yeah.
It's just like what in the movie? It's like, oh my god, a TIE fighter menacingly staring you down, and you're not in a ship. Like I've not seen that before. They did
Mm-hmm.
some really cool shots in the trailer, and when you go to see the movie, I'm like, I want to see what was in that trailer. But this movie had production issues, so
Did it?
who knows? Yeah, this movie had a big production, and they had to fix the ending. Remember, they I think the people are all the characters are supposed to survive. They end up killing them all off.
Oh, well, I did not know that. Poor people.
Yep, I think it was Kathy Kennedy's decision. She's like, no, let's kill them all off.
That's the
I don't
most
think she
interesting
wanted
you
them
can
to
do
live.
is die. No.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like before when I first saw it, it was like a 5, and then now when I see it, it's probably
Wow.
like a 6.5. like maybe
Okay.
7. So I mean, I
I think
appreciate
7 on my yes.
I
I think it's 7.
appreciate it more on this viewing because I realize like, you know, the world building that it gets into, the visuals that go into it, super awesome. You know, top notch. Yes, you don't have some of your story beats are completely friggin' wackadoodle. So I can't really give it any points on that, or even like the action part of it. Like there's not a ton of action besides like pew pew pew, a couple of laser blasts here and there. Like Jyn goes balls wild with her tonfas and just fucking takes out like 4 or 5 stormtroopers when they're in Jeddah. I'm like, that was badass, and then she never does it again the entire movie.
Ever again. She does nothing.
I'm like, dude, where's more of that? So
right, and then when she's undercover in the doing the heist, she can't keep her fucking eyes. I'm like, hello, sweetheart, we can see you. Like,
yeah, that was a pretty sweet.
You cover your eyes, but she keeps like taking it up.
She's always got like the black eyeliner around her eyes, like she's a recovered goth chick or something like that. Still doing the full eyeliner all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was all right. It's
all right. I know it pains me because I see so many people who hate that Disney owns Star Wars. They'll say, but they got this one right. And they always say when they don't like something that Disney does, they always yell, "Just give us more of Rogue One." And I wish I could be. I mean, I like a lot of what Disney has done. I also dislike some of the stuff that they've done. You know, whatever. But this movie, I don't want more of this, and that's just the action part. But the whole, like the character development, I just really have an issue with it. Really, is a boring story,
and some bounty
the whole
hunter
saga stuff did not need to be there.
Some bounty hunter stories, or because I know aren't they making a Mandalorian movie now?
Who the fuck knows what Disney's doing? Because they keep reacting knee-jerk reactions to the audience and stuff. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what they're gonna do. All I know is that they should have done is stuck with the Solo story, because a lot of people got mad at The Last Jedi that they didn't give the Solo movie a chance, and then they were just like so upset that I think that movie suffered from that because it was like a 3 or 4 month release later. But then, like, if not him, then give us a Lando show. I thought he was great. Give us a Lando show or movie. You know, focus on that stuff. You tease some Crimson Dawn or whatever. You had the Darth Maul scene in there. Kira was a cool character. Like, we can do this still, and like I think people would be okay. Maybe just do it smaller. Give us a series or something like that. You know,
Solo coming back for another movie would be awesome. Like that first movie was good, and him and Chewie lends himself to like a buddy cop, buddy smuggler kind of cop movie, and that would be hilarious to see. So
right, yeah.
Miss Simone, more Star Wars. Keep it coming. I guess Disney has been putting out stuff. I think they've had more hits. They've had more hits with their TV stuff than they have with the movies. But
Tales of the Empire, I haven't even seen.
About that one.
Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah.
You seen that?
That was good. And they did a Tales of the Empire?
Yeah. It's either coming out or it is out. Mm-hmm.
Give that a Google during the break. But it's it's hit or miss on some of the stuff. The thing is, like, Star Wars is so popular at this point that it's trying to appeal to a wide audience now. So before it was just about sci-fi nerds with their space cowboys and pew pew.
And there's so many generations of it, because there's people who adore the new trilogy, and there's people who adore the other trilogies. You know, so we're all somehow, I don't know, I would say getting along, but we're all hanging out with this franchise.
Some people appreciate the rebellion world building of Rogue One more than others. Mm-hmm. Some like coffee, some like tea. You know, just the way that things go.
Yep.
So
okay, I think that's Rogue One. Apologies if you listened to this whole conversation, you thought it would be about 2 Star Wars fans praising it. All right, we are legit that generation. We are in our early 40s, and we should love Rogue One.
And a Vader helmet right over here.
But it's just not for us. It's more about looks for us with that one. But I have a game.
Oh,
A
yes.
just a Star Wars 20 question.
Oh, by
Do you want
myself?
to just do it? Yeah, just by yourself. You want to just do it and
Let
we'll get out
me
of
let
here?
me go grab another beer. Let's take a quick break and I can
All
come
right,
right
let's
back.
take a break and come back.
All right. See you guys.
Welcome back. The end of every episode, we always play a game. So because Star Wars episode, I like to keep it somewhat simple. So 20 questions. If you're not familiar with 20 questions, Dave can only ask the questions, and all I can say is yes or
Only
no.
the questions.
That's it. How many
Only.
questions do you think he gets? 20.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think we're ready.
It's Star Wars?
It's
Is
Star
this-
Wars edition. Star Wars edition. So anything Star Wars.
Okay.
There you go.
And go. Is this a character in the Star Wars universe?
Yes.
Yes. Is this a character from a Star Wars movie?
Yeah.
Yes. Is this character human?
Yes.
Man.
You better not get this in like
Who
5
needs
questions.
you guys? I'm just gonna rip through these. Is this character male?
No.
Okay. That works both ways. It still helps. We got a female character from Star Wars movie. All right. Is this character in the prequels?
No.
Paused on that, which makes me think that they might be in the original series. Are they in the original series?
Yeah.
Even are they in the sequel series?
Mm, no.
Okay.
Don't believe so.
Female human from the original series. So you got Leia. You got Mon Mothma.
I think this person was in one of the prequel movies.
In the prequels?
Yes. Yes, they
Um,
were. Yes, they were. Yes, they were.
Okay,
Sorry.
hold on. No, that's cool. It helps.
Okay.
Did this person
Oh my god, I hate you.
help to raise Luke Skywalker?
No.
No? Oh.
No, that's a good guess. All right, I didn't even think about what's her face? That fucking Aunt Beru or whatever.
Aunt Beru. I don't know. There's only so many women that you can think of.
That's a
in
good
the Star
pick.
Wars,
Oh,
in the Star Wars universe. Well, technically, Baby Leia is in both. Mon Mothma is in both, maybe? No, she's not in the prequels.
baby Leia.
Could be Baby Leia.
Somebody has that on their IMDb. Any acting? I was crying baby at the end of episode 3 in Star Wars. Kind of a big deal.
I wonder if those babies were actually twins, too. And how fresh are those babies? Usually babies on shows or movies don't look like actual babies. They look like way bigger.
Some of
than
them
they're
are
supposed to
dolls, dude. It's kind of hilarious.
be. All right, back to this. Is this person in the Skywalker family?
No.
Okay. Cross that one off the list. Not Leia.
It's not Leia. You think I'm gonna pick fucking Leia?
Hey, you could try to
Star
throw.
Wars 20 questions. Oh.
Could try and throw me off. What other
Right?
women?
Surely he wouldn't pick Luke.
Sly bastard. Oh, okay. What else can I ask here? Person is in original series. It is a woman. It is a human. What fucking women are there in these movies? Sorry, it is very catered to men. And it is a human, so it's not like Omi the Dianoga from the
Good memory.
pits of the Death Star. Let's see. Is this woman in?
Wait. Yeah, it is a Death Star that thing's in. Yep.
Yeah, the original Death Star. Does this woman have any speaking lines in the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I speak.
Could be like some chick in the background of the Jedi Council that, showed up at something.
They speak.
They speak, huh? Speak? Not a Skywalker. Did not raise the Skywalkers. Yes. No. Not Anakin's mom. Not be in there. Couldn't be Padme. She's not in the original series, obviously. Yeah, of course, George Lucas would go into the original series and then add in flashbacks to the prequels. This is something I could see.
You lost some steam there, guy.
I did. I was going so hard, and then
I would have to say there's got to be 8 female humans in the entire saga.
Yeah, I know, and they're
have lines.
that have lines is the thing. All right, is this person also on a Star Wars TV show?
Yeah.
Is this person a senator?
I think that's the position. I believe so.
Okay.
Or at least at one point. A member of the Galactic Senate.
I didn't want to get my lines wrong there. Does this person?
Come on, I thought you were gonna say like five
have a short, tight little haircut like a basketball.
Yeah, we're getting warmer.
All right, is this Mon Mothma?
It is Mon Mothma.
Okay. Whew. I was getting worried there for a second.
She makes a brief appearance at the end of episode 3 when the Empire is being taken over by the Emperor.
Oh, really? I thought.
Declares, yeah.
Yeah, because they're not when they're handed.
She's at the Senate.
I was thinking of the Organas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
but I thought she would be tricky because it's a risk because she's a female and a human, and you went right for that in the first 2 questions. I'm like, fuck. But she's in the movies and the TV shows, so I'm like, she's there. Mm-hmm. She's got an important role, but she's true. So if you're gonna get anything I pick anyways, I just want to make. I don't want you to get under 10. How many questions was that?
Hold on. Let me add in my haircut question.
What's that? 14?
I guessed it on 14.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Well, good job, Dave.
Oh, thank you. That was a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure doing that by yourself. You don't got nobody to lean on for answers.
When you're in a rut.
But there's also a certain sense of freedom. Like, you have an idea and you just fucking run with it. Just ask your questions. That's all you got to do.
I want to say Eric will be back probably by our next
maybe
episode.
Yeah, we got a catch up coming up next week. So
Right.
talk about
So a lot
some fun
going on
stuff
there. But yeah, that was it. Dave and I just shit all over a movie that a lot of people like. Apologies for that. We truly do love Star Wars, and we appreciate all the hard work that went into it. That's why we don't go around yelling that we don't really care for it. It's just our personal opinion, and that's that. So, but that was a lot of fun talking about Star Wars. I say we get out of here. Follow us on our Discord. Type our name into anything, and you will find us. We're on just about everything. And with that,
no, you do it. You do it.
Safe travels, nomads.
Hey,
and may the Force be with you. Utini.